Adam Kinzinger, former Republican representative, unleashed a tirade against Donald Trump, leaving no stone unturned in his scathing rebuke. His words were not just a critique, but a full-blown assault on the character and actions of the president. His words dripped with contempt, painting a visceral picture of the president, a man he clearly holds in deep disdain. Kinzinger's tone was unrelenting, each sentence crafted to deliver a powerful blow. Fat, sweaty, smelly, gross, make-upped. These were just a few of the barbs Kinzinger hurled at Trump, each word more cutting than the last. The imagery he used was vivid, designed to evoke a strong emotional response from his audience. The attack, delivered via X, was a response to Trump's recent pronouncements on the Russia-Ukraine war, which Kinzinger found particularly egregious. He felt compelled to respond, unable to stay silent in the face of what he saw as dangerous rhetoric. Kinzinger, a staunch critic of Trump, didn't hold back, using every opportunity to voice his disapproval. His criticism was not just about policy, but about the very essence of Trump's character and leadership. He called Trump a scared, trembling, sissy husk of a man, words that echoed through the political landscape. These were not just insults, but a deliberate attempt to undermine Trump's image and influence. The ferocity of the attack shocked many, leaving both supporters and critics in a state of disbelief. It was a moment that captured the attention of the nation, sparking conversations and debates across the political spectrum. It laid bare the deep divisions within the Republican Party, divisions that seemed to grow wider with each passing day. The party, already fractured, now faced even more internal strife as members took sides. It also highlighted the volatile nature of American politics in the age of Trump, where every statement can ignite a firestorm. The political landscape has become a battleground, with words as the primary weapons. This wasn't just political sparring, it was personal, a deeply rooted animosity laid bare for all to see. The intensity of Kinzinger's words reflected a personal vendetta, a clash of ideologies and personalities. Kinzinger's words were designed to inflict maximum damage, a calculated move in the ongoing battle for the soul of the party. His speech was a strategic strike aimed at weakening Trump's hold on the Republican base and reshaping the party's future. Trump's comments on Ukraine have stirred up a hornet's nest of controversy, drawing sharp criticism from both sides of the political spectrum. His remarks have not only sparked debates, but have also led to a deeper examination of his foreign policy views. He suggested Ukraine would struggle to reclaim lost territory, a statement that many found both defeatist and demoralizing. Critics argue that such a stance undermines the morale of Ukrainian forces and the international community supporting them. His reasoning? Russia fought for that land, and according to him, they would not easily relinquish it. This perspective seems to ignore the resilience and determination of the Ukrainian people, who have been fighting to defend their sovereignty. He went further, claiming Russia held the upper hand due to territorial gains, which he implied were hard-earned and strategically significant. This assertion has been met with skepticism, as many believe it oversimplifies the complex dynamics of the conflict. He labeled Zelensky a dictator and urged him to make peace quickly, a move that many saw as undermining Ukraine's sovereignty. Such comments have been perceived as a direct attack on Zelensky's leadership and the democratic values he represents. The blame, according to Trump, lay with Ukraine for not ending the war sooner, a perspective that has been widely criticized. Observers note that this viewpoint fails to acknowledge the complexities and external influences that have prolonged the conflict. These statements represent a stark departure from traditional US policy, which has long supported Ukraine's right to self-determination. This shift has raised alarms among policymakers and diplomats who fear it could signal a weakening of US resolve. They align more closely with the Kremlin's narrative, raising questions about Trump's motivations and allegiances. Critics argue that such alignment could embolden Russia and undermine international efforts to hold it accountable. This has led to accusations of appeasement and emboldened Putin's regime, potentially altering the balance of power in the region. Analysts warn that such rhetoric could have long-term implications for global security and stability. Trump's words have also sown discord among US allies who are now questioning America's reliability as a partner. This discord has the potential to weaken alliances that have been pivotal in maintaining global order. They worry about America's commitment to defending democracy, fearing that such rhetoric could weaken global democratic movements. The concern is that these statements might embolden authoritarian regimes around the world. The transatlantic alliance, once a bedrock of global security, is showing signs of strain as leaders grapple with these controversial statements. The future of these alliances may hinge on how the US addresses these concerns moving forward. International figures have reacted with a mixture of anger and disbelief to Trump's pronouncements. Ukrainian President Zelensky accused Trump of inhabiting a disinformation space controlled by Moscow. Zelensky's exclusion from US-Russia talks in Saudi Arabia added insult to injury. It reinforced the perception that Trump was prioritizing dialogue with an adversary over supporting a democratic ally under attack. Sean Pinner, a British soldier who fought in Ukraine and suffered torture at the hands of Russian forces, didn't mince words. Trump is mad or owned, he declared, his outrage palpable. These reactions underscore the damage Trump's rhetoric is inflicting on America's global standing. They also highlight the personal cost of his policies, particularly for those on the front lines of the conflict. The geopolitical implications of Trump's stance are profound and far-reaching. His approach to international relations has been anything but conventional, often leaving allies and adversaries alike in a state of confusion and concern. His actions threaten to upend the established world order, creating uncertainty and instability. The unpredictability of his policies has made it difficult for other nations to plan their own strategies, leading to a global atmosphere of unease. By cozying up to Putin and undermining Zelensky, Trump is emboldening autocrats and weakening democratic institutions. This shift in alliances is alarming. It signals a potential realignment of global power structures, where authoritarian regimes gain more influence. This has sent shockwaves through Europe, where leaders are now questioning their own security and political stability. The traditional bonds of trust and cooperation with the United States are fraying, leading to a re-evaluation of foreign policies. European leaders, already grappling with the war in Ukraine, are now questioning America's reliability as an ally. The trust that once existed is eroding. This erosion of trust could have long-term consequences for NATO and other international alliances. Some fear Trump is paving the way for a new era of great power competition, one where might makes right and international norms are disregarded. This could lead to a more volatile world. The potential for miscalculations and conflicts increases as nations vie for dominance. The potential consequences are chilling, with the risk of increased global conflict and humanitarian crises. The world could see a rise in refugee flows, economic instability, and widespread suffering. A world where autocrats are ascendant and democracies are on the defensive is a world more prone to conflict and instability. The balance of power is shifting. Democracies must find ways to adapt and respond to these challenges to preserve global stability. Trump's actions are not just irresponsible, they are dangerous. They undermine the very foundations of international cooperation. The ripple effects of his policies are felt far and wide, affecting not just governments but also ordinary people. They risk unraveling decades of progress towards a more peaceful and prosperous world, threatening the future of global diplomacy and peace. The international community must work together to counter these destabilizing forces and uphold the principles of cooperation and mutual respect. Trump's presidency has been marked by a disregard for traditional norms and alliances. His America First policy, while appealing to some, has alienated many of America's closest partners. The world watches with bated breath as Trump continues to chart his own course. Will his actions lead to a more stable and prosperous world? Or will they usher in an era of chaos and uncertainty? Only time will tell. But one thing is clear, the stakes have never been higher. The future of the world order, and perhaps even the fate of democracy itself, hangs in the balance.